In today's video, we're going to be going through 7 different categories of animation errors in The Simpsons. From simple coloring mistakes to bizarre clips like whatever this is, we'll be steadily progressing from minor glitches to fatal mistakes and grave errors. Let's start with the most minor type of error, lip sync issues. These are the types of mistakes that you'll pretty much never notice unless your eyes are glued to the screen, or you're me. In season 17, episode 21, The Monkey Suit, Flanders is testifying in court when the flap of his lips doesn't quite match what he says.
You are positive that man and ape cannot be related.
Sure as I am that Jesus hates hip-hop.
Do you think that counts as lying? Is that legally binding under oath? Another comes from season 12, episode 18, Trilogy of Horror. Homer and Marge are rushing to the hospital after she accidentally cut off Homer's thumb. Don't question it.
If the doctor asked why you cut it off, you caught me in bed with 4 beautiful women.
Say that Bart did it.
Never mind the thumb, someone get that car to the emergency room. A more recent example of this glitch is from season 23, episode 7, The Man in the Blue Flannel Pants. Homer gets 2 DVDs mixed up on a boat trip, and Bart accidentally sees this.
Are you sure you're Martin Scorsese?
Enjoy the outdoors, you stupid kid! This family time is so precious. Gotta go!
This could be a joke about the film being dubbed, but more than likely, this was just a bad last-second dubbing job. Who knows? You decide. For some strange reason, season 14 has the most and some of the worst lip sync issues out of the whole show. 2 separate instances of lip desync can be found during episode 19, Old Yeller Belly. One when Bart and his friends are trying to prank Lisa from the treehouse by imitating Marge.
Today, Balthazar will tell us about global warming in the land beyond the rainbow. Those 7 species of gumdrops.
Lisa, this is your mother. The doctor says your butt's too big.
And another while Homer is stuck in the treehouse as it begins to burn down.
Where are you going? I'm your pal. I took you for a walk once.
Apparently, in a commercial for the episode, the line was different, hence the inaccurate mouth movement. Was it that unfunny? The same question should be asked about episode 17, 3 Gays of the Condo. Pay close attention to Homer's mouth during his last line.
There's something I want to ask you.
Yes?
How much do you tip a leg waxer? I need to know by tomorrow.
Just go.
Not only is Homer desynced, but you can hear his voice actor rushing the line out in an attempt to match with it. One of the worst offenders, still from season 14, is during episode 13, A Star is Born Again. While Flanders is on a date with an actress, Lenny awkwardly approaches her for an autograph.
Excuse me, Miss Sloan. May I have an autograph? Oh man, this is going right on eBay. I mean my wall, which I will then sell on eBay.
None of what he said matches at all. Audio dialogue replacement could never have saved that scene. The absolute worst I could find was from episode 11, Barting Over. Right after a usual Bart and Homer scuffle, Homer starts making some serious threats to Bart.
He disrespects me and I'm just supposed to accept it?
You're mine till you're 18, and when you're 17, I'm gonna work you like a dog.
Not only does his mouth not match, but the movement is so bad you can see Homer's animation looping. If anything, that adds to his threat by looking so uncanny. But that's nothing compared to our next category, color mistakes. Now, this is definitely the type of error you'll notice, one that'll make you double take and say, wait, did I see that right? Let's start with an early episode, season 3, episode 22, The Auto Show. Nelson approaches Bart and Lisa, and in between shots, you can see his shirt and jacket color swap. He's either indecisive or an upcoming fashion icon. In Homie the Clown from season 6, you can see Homer's shoes change color from black to gray as he rides a unicycle. I didn't know shoe color was a part of clown school. Even Krusty was disturbed by this. Here's another more noticeable error from season 9, episode 6, The Cartridge Family. Everyone knows Marge's necklace is red, but not in this clip.
Homer, I told you this morning, no guns at the dinner table.
It's at the breakfast table.
It's the same table.
It starts looking regular, but it changes to white for the shot at the table, and then back to red on her close-up. It must be like one of those mood rings. White means neutral, red means angry, so Marge must always be fuming. For this next error, I'm going to play the clip and let you find it. And if you do, you have to like and subscribe. Classic YouTuber trick right there. That's years in the business right there. That's years in the business.
They're just not gonna look, genius.
In the Garden of Eden, honey. Don't you know that?
Did you catch it? This is from season 7's Bart Sells His Soul, and right at the start in the background, Jasper's beard is the same color as his skin. Did he dye it, shave it? Nah, the artist just messed up. A more minor version of this error happens in a fairly recent episode, season 32's Burger Kings. Mr. Burns gets his first taste of a burger, and his reaction is, well, horrifying, to say the least. It even turned his ear the same color as his hair. What did they put in that thing? Another similar error happens in season 10, episode 7. Lisa gets an A. Wendell, the vomit kid, has red hair for some reason. He'd been around for a while by now, so you'd think the artists would know how to keep him on model. How did that happen? Well, at least it wasn't their skin color they got wrong. Oh no. Yes, that's Apu with yellow skin. No, I don't know how that slipped through, but to be fair, it was an earlier season, he was part of the crowd, so they probably didn't notice him and colored everyone yellow. But hey, at least it only happened once, right? Oh, come on! Yeah, it happens again to Carl in season 4's The Last Exit to Springfield, or maybe that's his brother Carl with a K. But even worse than that is that it happens to Carl again in season 11, episode 17, Bart to the Future.
Hey, y'all ready to party?
Not only was he colored incorrectly, but he has to listen to future Bart's music. The poor guy can't catch a break. Human error, baby. One of the more iconic skin miscolor errors comes from season 2, episode 18, Brush with Greatness. When Homer gets stuck in the water slide, a bunch of kids are sent down to shove him out. But not only do they get stuck too, but half the kids change between shots. One boy and 3 girls are seen going down initially, all with yellow skin, but then changes to 3 kids, all boys, and 1 no longer with yellow skin. And then in between the shots of them and Homer screaming, one boy changes to a girl, and the other changes skin color again. Quite the conundrum, though I guess this counts as more than just a color mistake at this rate. We'll get to more errors like this later. The worst and possibly most notorious color mistake, however, is from the beginning of the show in season 1's Homer's Odyssey.
And so this plant harnesses the power of the atom, energy to run everything from your favorite video game to yummy cotton candy machine.
For some bizarre reason, Smithers is black in this episode, and only in this episode. However, this might not have been an error at all. People have theorized that Smithers was actually supposed to be black, but was changed in fear of controversy, and some unnamed sources back these claims. But in an interview, the creator of The Simpsons stated that it was just a mistake, and that Smithers was always supposed to be yellow, but that don't explain how the error was made, did? Unlike this next category, which is pretty self-explanatory, missing or extra parts. These errors can be super hard to notice at times, sometimes only being visible for a frame, while others are, well, yeah, let's just get into them. Starting with an earlier episode, we have season 2, episode 20, The War of the Simpsons.
Flanders, next time, why don't you put a little alcohol in it?
Oh, Simpson, it has a jigger of bourbon and 3 shots of rum. Just a little dabberoo of creme de cassis for flavor.
Right at the end of Flanders' recipe, his nose disappears. Don't know how the animators didn't notice that one. Years in the business. Here's one a little easier to spot from season 11's Beyond Blunderdome.
Can I stay with you, Dad?
Sorry, son, but we're going to be very busy. Movie really stinks.
Hey, Bart, you got a little something on your shoulder there? No need to worry, though, because it seems Homer can just grow them back. This next one is super hard to notice, and it's from a previously mentioned episode, 3 Gays at the Condo.
It's so manly.
Yes, I seem to have gotten lost on my way to the big auto racing.
Did you catch that one? If you slow the scene down when Smithers begins his line, you can see that his jaw just kind of shrinks and his mouth disappears. Freaky looking stuff. I'd say that's freakier than a treehouse of horror design. It's not just body parts that can disappear, though. In season 9, episode 20, The Trouble with Trillions, Homer makes a pit stop at a hot dog stand, and although the standee is upholding health and safety rules, his apron disappears in the next frame. To be fair, he's only an extra, but extras have to stay on model too. A similar instance is from season 9's Reality Bites. In most shots, Marge is wearing a red jacket, but during a shot of her back, it's gone. Maybe she just took it off because she was hot. For 2 seconds. One of the most obvious examples of this error happens in season 7's Homer Palooza. Homer's on stage wearing shorts, goggles, and a helmet, but when he gets off, his shorts become jeans and the rest of the outfit vanishes. And no, there's no in-between shots of him taking them off. Maybe the animators thought it's the end of the episode, no one will notice. Everyone noticed. These last few are blanket you'll miss the moments though, so keep your eyes peeled. During the 10th Halloween special, season 11's Treehouse of Horror X, Xena is lifted away by a magnet, but don't let her or her looks distract you. Watch the crowd.
Must remove my breastplate. Maybe later.
Most of the crowd is missing their faces, instead having a cross. This is actually how animators begin drawing the head of a character. Guess they didn't finish and left them as they are. To be fair, it's weird looking and that fits the spooky episode theme. In season 5, episode 14, Lisa versus Malibu Stacy, pay close attention to Maggie during this scene.
And you can achieve anything. All right, now all we need is a name.
Yep, Maggie's head straight up vanishes during the last few frames. How do you draw a character for several seconds and then just forget their head at the end? The exact same thing happens to Bart in When You Dish Upon a Star from season 10.
If celebrities didn't want people pawing through their garbage and saying they're gay, shouldn't have tried to express themselves creatively. In closing...
Wait, that's not Bart. That's Smeebly. Classic character. He just so happens to have the body of Bart, but a different head. Too bad he never shows up again. Looping back around to our first error of this category is a mistake from season 6, episode 8, Lisa on Ice.
Great game, Lise. Great game, Bart.
Game? What the hell? This is outrageous.
That woman in the crowd loses her nose just like Flanders. But wait a sec. She's also in the other crowd wearing a different shirt? Which leads us right into background glitches. These are also usually pretty hard to notice due to them being, you know, in the background. As previously mentioned, the crowd in Lisa on Ice is actually copy and pasted with different colors, which might not be a glitch, but it's definitely strange looking. Just like this error from season 7's Much Apoo About Nothing. Pay close attention to the crowd of kids.
Young man, the only thing we exchanged for you is our national dignity.
You want to pick on immigrants? Then pick on Willie!
Willie, the children want to pick on someone their own size.
Ugh.
Hey, Willie, instead of trying to fight the kids, how about you get rid of the imposter clone of Ralph? Another duplication glitch happens and Bart gets hit by a car from season 2. During a scene in court when Marge is at the stand.
But wait a minute. I'm confused. This court heard testimony from one Dr. Nick Riviera. What is your opinion of him, Mrs. Simpson?
For just the last second, a second blue-haired lawyer can be seen next to Mr. Burns. Well, I guess he's rich. If he wants to duplicate his lawyer, let him. In Lisa the Beauty Queen from season 4, you can clearly see that there are 3 people on the stage, right?
T is for her tooth-filled mouth, is for her tooth-filled mouth.
Right at the end, the other contestants reappear. Where did those other girls come from? And why are they so happy when they've lost? Creepy. Inconsistency like that must have been hard to notice, especially when the show was fairly new, like in season 3's Like Father, Like Clown. Throughout the episode, we see Homer in a suit and tie, but after Krusty's tragic backstory, he changes back into his regular clothes, and then back again. Make up your mind, Homer, or was Krusty's sob story too boring for your fancy clothes? That don't make any sense. But let's end this category with a simple error and a really crazy one. In season 6, episode 13, and Maggie Makes 3, Homer runs upstairs screaming after finding out Marge is pregnant. And in the next scene, he does the exact same thing, but there's a problem. This scene takes place in the past before Bart is born, yet there's a photo frame of Lisa on the wall. This was a simple mistake made due to a reused background, but the next one.
Oh, thanks, honey.
Well, I'm not crazy about the plutonium or nicotine.
This is from season 11's EI Annoyed Grunt, and honestly, I can't even begin to explain what's happening. Nah, just kidding. I definitely can. There are 2 Lisa layered on top of each other, and Homer's belt is see-through. More than likely, this is just a layering issue, but it lasts for the whole scene, and it looks bonkers. But not as bonkers as the magic trick known as object displacement. Things disappear, reappear, and sometimes change into completely different objects entirely, like in season 11, episode 12, The Mansion Family. Mr. Burns visits a clinic with a, what's called an unsanitary sign in the front, but later in the episode, the sign is gone. They must have realized that maybe a sign like that isn't the best thing to have. In season 13's Homer the Moe's revamped bar is taking off, and apparently so are his drinks.
Oh, we don't serve Duff no more. We got a Malaysian beer that's better than Duff, made out of soy sauce.
Whatever, just give me a Duff.
Hold on there, Mo. I thought you said you didn't serve Duff anymore. That looks like Duff to me. Maybe you should serve those Magic Wish beers instead of your soy slop. But that's not where the magic beer ends, as it seems to be a recurring thing in the world of The Simpsons. The same error happens again in Colonel Homer from season 3.
Hey, Lurleen, I gotta say something to you.
Unless Lurleen moved at the speed of sound to put those bottles in the garbage, those beers all changed into one cup. Maybe that cup is equivalent in alcohol percentage to those bottles. However, beer isn't the only thing that can shapeshift. In season 9, episode 20, The Trouble with Trillions, Homer's tax return looks awfully suspicious, and rightfully so, because after changing shots, it transforms into a ball of yarn. Maybe that's what was in the package? But why did it come out of it? Now, you may be thinking, earlier seasons are more likely to make mistakes, but these errors still occur in fairly recent seasons. In season 21's Bart Gets a Z, Mrs. Crabapple is sick of these new cellular phones and confiscates them from the class.
That's it. Everything in the box. No more gizmos in this class. They're all going in the drawer with the biology frogs.
Unfortunately for her, it looks like the entire class all have a spare phone each. They all vanish in the next shot, but why were they smoking though? Maybe that's just Apple's cool new gimmick or something. And speaking of gimmicks, during season 9's Bart Carney, the family's guest is showing off some gimmicks of his own.
No.
Can you do that again?
Not for a little while.
Wow, that's amazing. Never mind the cigarette, all of the food disappeared from the plates without anyone even eating it. How does he do it? Maybe it's just an optical illusion. Just like this next error. In season 5, episode 11, Homer the Vigilante, during a press conference with the cops, something strange happens to the filming crew.
Come on, get the scent. Now kill him! My jugular! Oh, any questions?
If you look closely, which this guy can't do, a character on the left is missing one of his eyes, and even stranger is the floating light above him to the right. Technology is incredible. Lights can float now. Here's a more simplistic error during a rebellious outcry from Bart and Team Homer from season 7. Dude takes off a sweater and puts it on his desk.
Oh man, is it hot in here? I better take off my sweater.
Down with Homer? Don't look at it, children.
You can see while Bart revels in the class's attention, his sweater disappears from said desk. There must be a secret speeding sweater thief in the class or something. Either that or the sweater can camouflage. The last one of these errors is as recent as season 32 with undercover burns. After talking to the new guy, the guys turn and leave. But if you look closely at Homer's tie, the pattern turns too. Reminds me of one of those 3D holographic cards that animates when you turn it. But those aren't the only things that need turning to look correct. If something is in the wrong place or is the incorrect size, that is the result of a perspective or scaling error. Well, not the result, that it's classified as a perspective or scaling error. Starting with Treehouse of Horror 5 from season 6. In one of the stories, the family's home is abducted by Flanders, but something about the house looks wrong.
Don't you remember, Dad? Flanders is the unquestioned lord and master of the world.
If you compare that house to the one from the intro, you'll notice that the garage is on the wrong side. Crazy to think how many times Homer has been seen running through it, and this mistake was still made. And, hey, wait a sec, the plates on the table disappear too. That's a double error whammy. Another strange variation of this error happens in season 4, episode 9, Mr. Plow. While Bart's messing around in a display car, Homer approaches him from outside.
That car belonged to Bonnie and Clyde. Show a little respect.
The bullet holes on the windscreen of the car aren't layered properly and cover up Homer instead of being able to see him through them. Maybe they're fake bullet holes, just stickers placed to make it look real. Exposed! Two similar errors of this category come from incorrect placement of characters, resulting in some weird-looking shots. In season 26's Bart's New Friend, whilst in the crowd at the circus, Homer's head just kind of floats there. I mean, Homer, if you're gonna levitate your head, at least get a better view than that. And don't be a jerk by blocking the view of the crowd. Homer's not the only character that can float, though, because Lenny does the same in Wild Bart's Can't Be Broken from season 10.
Whoop, careful.
Lenny seemed to be better than Homer at levitating, though I guess he had to sacrifice his lower half to get his powers. Actually, I'm kind of glad he did, because I really didn't want to see Lenny's little Lenny, if you know what I mean. By far, one of the strangest errors I found was this one from season 12's Simpsons Safari. The family gets a little freaked out by their tour guide, but she's more afraid than they are.
Don't worry, Doctor. We'll get you all the help you need.
Don't put me away! I'll give you diamonds. Diamonds will make everything all better.
You know what? I'd be afraid too, lady. Maggie just phased through Marge. What kind of witchcraft is she up to? Another bizarre one is from the very first episode of the show, Simpsons roasting on an open fire. At the end of the episode, whilst the family is celebrating, pay attention to the background.
So love at first sight is possible. And if he runs away, he'll be easy to catch.
This is the best gift of all, Homer.
It is?
Yes, to share our love and frighten Prowl.
If you look closely, the whole background is upside down. Not just the weird photo of Bart, but the lamp, too. You can easily forgive this one, though, with it being, you know, the literal first episode of the show. But what can't be forgiven is this.
Ooh, it's Lisa!
That's ours.
Lisa has no pants. Which brings us to our final category, one we've simply titled WTF. And you'll quickly see why, as pretty much all these glitches and errors and whatever the frick are incredibly strange and unexplainable. For this category, we're gonna speed run these entries, so keep your eyes sharp and ready. From the Tracy Ullman Show's Bart of the Jungle, we have Twister Face Bart.
This fun, Barzanga. Right on, Lisamba.
Not quite an animation error, just the old style of the show being weird, but definitely a WTF moment for sure. From oldest to newest, we got season 31's The Way of the Dog.
What are we going to do?
Oh, no problem, sweetie.
The outline of Homer's mouth goes missing for a few frames, quite minor but still weird. Season 18's Homerazzi has this little oddity.
Oh, Captain, your mission ended too soon. Too soon.
The word space on Homer's flag becomes misspelled as Sopsy. It changes back, but it's insane that nobody noticed that all through the animation and editing process. Going back to Homer's Odyssey, another mistake plays out near the end.
Going bowling with them. Watch them pass me over for promotions, and I say, this stinks.
The way Smithers and his group just suddenly appear looks really janky. And just look at the crowd. I actually kind of love all their designs. They're just blobs and smiley faces. Another strange looking crowd shows up in another previously mentioned episode, season 2's Brush with Greatness.
To hell with this.
Hey, that guy in the corner stole Homer's iconic beard. Give it back! During a musical number in Elementary School Musical from season 22, guest star Stephen Hawking's wheelchair wheels don't actually spin when he is. That's some impressive traction. Another previously mentioned episode, season 3's Like Father, Like Clown, has this pretty obvious error.
This is not as hot a party as I had anticipated.
Read this.
Yeah,
Although when the employee enters, they leave the door open, it's immediately seen shut in the next shot. But here's one similar to the Sopsy flag glitch. In season 3, episode 17, Homer at the Bat, Mr. Burns offers his team an elixir.
It's a brain and nerve tonic, rich in proteids and electromagnetic juices. Of course, it has been known to cause gigantism, but only in rare cases.
If you watch the and symbol throughout the scene, you'll see it constantly flip back and forth, almost as if the animators were arguing about which way it's supposed to be. In another Halloween episode, season 13's Treehouse of Horror 12, Mr. Burns' machine does something strange to Ralph.
I'm not getting squat from this yo-yo.
Dying tickles.
As well as kill him, it buttons up his jacket. I don't think you need a machine for that, Burns. Finally, in I Married Marge from season 3, Homer scribbles out Patty's name from the paper and writes his own name, but later when Marge reads it, his name has been moved and Patty's name now only has a line through it. Must have been his second draft. Now, that may have been our last category, but we're not done just yet. This one episode, although one of the first, is the culmination of all these categories combined. That episode being Season 1, Episode 13, Some Enchanted Evening. Right at the start, whilst Marge is on call with Marvin Monroe, two errors happen in the span of just a few seconds.
Be that honest, Marge.
Yeah.
You'll tell him right when he comes home from work.
Yeah!
First off, Marvin's pupils vanish for a second while he leans back. That's a missing part error. And then, when Homer blinks, the bottom of his eyelids turn white. That's a color mistake, but it doesn't stop there. Homer and Marge hire a babysitter for the kids, and this infamous scene happens right as they leave.
I said you're gonna watch this tape, and you're gonna do what I say, or I'm gonna do something to you. Everybody has always done what I say.
The babysitter has unusually smooth animation, which isn't an error, but that must have been where all the budget went, because it's followed up by Bart Crab walking towards the TV and stretching his arm backwards like Mr. Fantastic. And finally, the jankiest and probably silliest animation yet, Marge's stupid bounce dance. Amazing. That's all the crazy errors we got time for today, but if you want some more Simpsons content, click one of the videos on screen right about now. See you later, thanks for watching!